So a while back, I have received a bunch of these really cool 12 millimeter glass cabochons with the stickers on the back. They're clear glass with stickers of this really cool Evil Eye designs. So look at all them. They're so they're really awesome. Love them. And so I came up with design with a bezel for them. So these are all 12 millimeter cabochon. Look how awesome they are. These are just a few examples. I can't remember how many there were in a pack, but there were a lot. So let me clear them out of the way. And the one I'm going to bezel today is this one that I'm going to bezel using some 15 O's, 11 O's, and 8 O Miyukis in some cobalt and yellow colors. And this, I beaded one earlier in turquoise and bronze colors. Look how awesome that I love these cabochons. So it looks very complicated, and that's one of the things I like about a cubic right angle weave, is that it looks very complicated, but it isn't, but it makes the whole structure very rich. So there we are. That's how we capture it in the back. And yeah, so today we're going to make a bezel like this, except in yellow and cobalt colors. So to hurry our kind of time along, I already made a strip of CRAW. So this is a cubic right angle weave, and I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 cubes that are joined together. I will show you how to do it, although I think a lot of people are comfortable with CRAW and know how to do it, but I'm still going to demonstrate how I make 3 of the cubes and then join them so that we have a total of 16 cubes in a round. So that's how much we need to capture this 12 millimeter cabochon. So here I am, I'm working with Miyukis. These are all 11 O's. And the way you start, and it's a bit fiddly to start when you're just beginning. I have now something to hold on to. But when you're just starting, literally all you do is you make a loop of 4 beads. So see, these are 4 beads in a loop, and that's our starting. The kind of the end of my cross strip here is the beginning of the first cube that we're going to do together. Okay, let's see if I can I'll try to explain it as clearly as I possibly can. So I'm making this stripy pattern, as you notice here. So I'm alternating which beads I pick up. So we have at the base of our cube we have all 4 cobalt 11 O's. Then I'm going to pick up yellow, cobalt, yellow. Okay, and the bead out of which we're coming out, we're making a loop around it with these 3 beads that we just picked up, and we're going to go through it. Okay, so now if you look on the outside, we have a loop of 4 beads. See, cobalt, cobalt, yellow, cobalt, yellow. Okay, so at the base we have 4 cobalt, then I attach yellow, cobalt, yellow, and we've created a loop around one of the first base bead. Then we carry on into the bead following the pathway, so you don't just cross over with the thread and go into this bead here. We are following into the next bead where the thread is leading. So we're going to go into this bead. Okay. we pick up yellow and cobalt, just yellow and cobalt, because if you notice, we need to create a loop of 4 beads, including this bead, but we already have a yellow bead here from the previous loop, so we only need 2 more beads. So we pick up yellow and cobalt, and we go into yellow and then into that base cobalt. Okay, and once we do that, we are going to have another loop here. So if we turn here, we have 1 loop of 4 beads. We turn this way, we have 1 loop of 4 beads. Then we need to go into the next cobalt base bead, cobalt bead at the base of our cube. And then we pick up yellow and cobalt again. And once again, we go into the yellow of the previous, and then the base cobalt bead. So now we need to go into the next or last cobalt bead at the base of our cube. And when you turn this way, you'll notice that we already have the 2 yellow beads on the sides. So we just need to add 1 cobalt bead on top. So we're going to go up this yellow bead to make that loop, because we need to make the loop around here going this way. Okay, we pick up 1 cobalt bead, then we go down into the yellow bead on the side and into the cobalt bead below, and then we won't come out at the top, so we go through the yellow and cobalt, and we're coming out at the top. So we've done another loop. We've completed this loop by adding just 1 cobalt bead, and we're coming out of that cobalt bead that we added. So now if you see, on each side we have this loop of 4 beads. So we have cobalt, cobalt, yellow, cobalt, cobalt, yellow, cobalt, and they're the same on all sides. Now at the top you'll see all these 4 cobalt beads, they're disconnected. Now we need to connect them. So our thread goes here, so we need to go make a loop around these 4 beads. So we connect them with the thread. Here we are, coming out of that last cobalt bead that we added. Okay, so and that's us. We just completed 1 cubic right angle weave cube. It's basically made up of 6 loops. So we have the base loop, the top loop, that's 2 loops, and then we have 4 loops on the sides. So that's 6 loops in total. So now let's repeat this. Okay, we pick up yellow, cobalt, yellow. Just to point out, you see the top of the previous cube has become the bottom of our next cube. So we picked up yellow, cobalt, yellow. We go into the bead out of which we're coming out, making a loop around it, and then we can go straight into the next bead in our pathway. Okay, look at that. See, we have the loop. Now we need to make another loop of 4 beads. We already have 1 yellow bead from the previous loop, 1 cobalt bead from the base, so we just need yellow and cobalt, just 2 beads. Then we go into the yellow and then out of that cobalt, and we can go straight into the following base bead. Okay, so there we are. Now we have made 1 loop of 4 beads, 2 loops of 4 beads. See, these 2 loops, they join 1 bead. They have 1 bead in common because that's how they get connected. So now we have 1 base bead, we have 1 yellow side bead. So we pick up one yellow, one cobalt, and we go into the yellow and into the cobalt, out of the cobalt, making a third loop. Here we are, we have 3 loops. So this is another view of how we are doing this. Now, if we push them all up, you'll see that here we can make our third loop by joining the base cobalt bead, the side yellow bead. We need to add only one cobalt bead on top. We go into the yellow and then back into the base cobalt bead. And then we're going up and just completing the loop coming out of that cobalt bead that we just added. And once again, on top, we have 4 beads that are not connected. And we need to loop the thread around them to connect them all and come out of that last cobalt bead that we added. Okay, so at this point, I like doing the stripy pattern because it's also easy. I mean, if you don't do the stripy pattern, it's easy to count how many cubes you have by the hole in the middle. Okay, so you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, we need to make one more cube before connecting. So remember, this is a bezel for a 12 millimeter cabochon. That one there. So let's do this one together again. So we pick up once again, yellow, cobalt yellow. We go into the bead out of which we're coming out of, making a loop, and go straight into the next base bead. It really speeds up the bead work if you do it that way. Excuse me, I'm going to wax the thread where my needle. Sometimes the needle eye, it can fray the thread a bit. And I'm working with coated Nymo, but it can still fray, so I keep waxing it as I go. So here we are, we have our loop. Now we need to make another loop. We pick up yellow and cobalt. So first time we pick up 3 beads, second time we pick up 2 beads, third time we pick up 2 beads, and then in the last loop we pick up only 1 bead. Okay, so then we go through the yellow and then the side yellow, the base cobalt bead, and then the following base cobalt bead. Okay, so here we are, we have 2 loops. Once again we pick up yellow and cobalt, and we go into the side yellow, base cobalt. Okay, we have our 3 connected loops of 4 beads that we can push together now, and we'll join the last loop by adding 1 cobalt bead at the top of that cube. Here we are, and then we need to come out, keep looping around till you come out of the top cobalt bead, and then we join all 4 of those beads together, coming out of the cobalt bead that we added. Okay, now the tricky part comes. Make sure that you don't twist anything. It's very important not to twist anything. I've got another thread that I'm using from the other side. I used a total of about 1.5 arm spans. Yeah, so that should be plenty of thread. I always like to take a bit more thread than is necessary. So look at this. To connect these 2 sides, we're going to have to add some yellow beads because we have the cobalt beads that's going to be at the top and the base, or base and top. So we have the two cobalt sides of that cube. We just need to add the yellow sides. So we take one yellow bead and we go, oh, I want to hold it so it's clearly, okay. We put that, I'll do it one bead at a time so you see. So we put yellow bead on one side and then the yellow bead on the other side, okay. Okay, and look at this. This is what we have now. We have a loop of 4 beads, okay? And our thread now wants to go into this next base bead, okay? So we're gonna go, careful that our thread doesn't loop over, okay? Then we can twist, and now we see that here we have cobalt, yellow cobalt, and we need to add 1 yellow bead. So we add 1 yellow bead, we go into the yellow from the previous loop and out of that base cobalt bead. So we make a loop around it. Okay, so see, now we have added, we already have 3 yellow beads. We need to add 1 more bead. Before we do that, we need to enter the next base bead. Now we can rotate the whole thing around and you'll notice it's starting to close up. Okay, so there the same thing. We have a cobalt, we have a yellow from the other bead and this cobalt bead. Now we need to make a loop around them. I don't know how clearly, I mean, if you really, I hope this is as clearly as I can really explain. Of course, if you've done cubic right angle weave before, this is going to be a piece of cake, but I hope this is clear enough. But I hope you see it. So we need to join now this yellow bead. See, this cobalt bead, this cobalt bead. So we add this one last yellow bead. And we need to go all the way around all these 3 beads to join them, okay? There we are. We have now joined them. And look what we have here now. We now have all 4 beads in place. We just need to loop around them. So we need to go into the next cobalt base bead. We need to go into that yellow bead on top. Need to go into this cobalt bead on the side and then into the yellow and coming out of our base bead again. I'm just gonna go around again one more time and come out of the cobalt bead on the other side. Here I can pull them tightly, my 2 ends, and now we have our circle of cubic right angle weave, sort of circle shape. Yes. So this is how you do that if you ever need to make a craw circle. So now to close up the front, where's my needle gone? Okay, so this will be the top, and the way we're going to close it up, the top of our bezel, is coming out of this cobalt bead. We're going to go into this one, into this yellow one, okay? And then I'm going to insert 1 15-0, cobalt 15-0, okay? We insert 1 cobalt 15-0 and then go through 2 yellow 11-0s, okay? We just keep following that circle. 1 cobalt 15-0 and go through 2 11-0s, okay? This is what we are having, okay? 1 cobalt 15-0, go through 2 yellow 11-0s, 1 cobalt 15-0, and then go through 2 following 11-0s. It'll tighten up very nicely and it'll make the top of our bezel. So our eye is going to go into it like that. Okay? So let's go cobalt. And through the 2 11-0s, cobalt. These are just 50-0s that we're adding. Always 50-0s between 2 11-0s. Okay? Cobalt 50-0 through 2 11-0s. Cobalt 50-0. And then through 2 11-0s, and we're just gonna proceed a little bit further to tighten up and reinforce this these beads that we have sitting all together. So we're just going around a little bit around all these beads that we've just gone through earlier. Go all the way around. Just going to wax my thread a little more. I try not to let it start fraying before I wax it. That way, well, that way it never reaches the point of fraying. It always stays together neatly. I honestly, I know that not many people, well, there are plenty of people who like Nymo, but there's a lot of people who don't like Nymo because of fraying, but I find that waxing really solves that issue very well. So, of course, feel free to make this with Fireline 4-pound or 6-pound. I'm sure that even 8-pound, I'm sure will work here, because we don't really go through the 50-0s all that often. So, right, let me close up and wrap up this whole circle. Okay, now I'm going to want to come out of one of the yellow 11-0s, okay? Don't worry about the other thread I have that just dangling in case I need to make bail later or attach further to something else. So coming out of one of our 11-0s, okay, we're going to go in the right angle weave fashion. We're going to go around the beads. So I'm going to go into this cobalt, and then we're going to go right up into the next cobalt, and then up into the following cobalt. Okay, and now we're going to work with the yellow beads on the opposite side of the ones that we joined. So we can already insert our cabochon this way. You can see it from here how that will look. Okay, so it's going to look that way, and then on the other side we're going to put 50-0s. So let me move my beads a bit to my right side so I can here. So we came out of this cobalt bead, and then let's go into this yellow 11-0. Okay, so now I want to add cobalt 50 no's all between, like everywhere, okay? Everywhere in between every single yellow. Not like in the other one where we were entering, see, on the other side we were entering cobalt just between two 11 O's. So here we're inserting cobalt 15 O between every single yellow 11 O. And remember, you can always skip through to the next step. You don't have to follow adding every single bead with me. Probably start editing eventually, but don't know when. I did a little edit in my previous video actually, where I just I had so much thread that got tangled up between all those millefiori and the components of my previous tutorial that it's just, oh my, that was you did not need to see that. So anyway, I untangled the whole thing and then erased all that. Okay, right. Adding the last 15 O here between the two yellow 11 O's. We're going to go into 11 O and we'll come out of this 15 O, okay? So here we are. Our cabochon is going to go in this way, okay? We don't need to add it just yet. Let me remind myself how many I added there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I added, now we are picking up 7, coming out of that cobalt 15 O. We're picking up 7 15 O's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then we are skipping 3 15 O's and we're going into the fourth 15 O. Okay. Okay. We are picking up 7 15 O's again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skipping 1, 2, 3, going into the fourth 15 O. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skipping 1, 2, 3 15 O's going into the fourth 15 O. If I can get into it. Come on. There we are. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we skip 3 and then go into the fourth, which is the original 15 O into from which we came out of, and then at the same time we want to proceed through 4. Okay, so coming out of the middle of those 7 15 O's. So we go through 4 and come out. Okay. Let me tighten that up. Oh, actually, before I tighten that up, oh, almost missed putting my cabochon in. So here we are. We'll get our cabochon in there and close it up. Well, I know it closes up neatly because with the other one it closed up very, very neatly. Okay, right, let's not pull it too much at this point because it's still only just around the edges, but coming out of this fourth 15 O, we pick up 3 15 O's and then we go into the middle 15 O of those 7, the following group of 7 15 O's. Okay, so this is what, oh, it's gonna want to wobble out a bit, but it's okay. It's all gonna fall into place. Well, it should. It worked very well with the previous bezel. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to the 4th. Okay. Yes, there we are. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3 again into the central bead of the next 7 bead set. It's okay, we'll tighten it all up a bit later, but it really sits in very nice and snug, you know, this way, and that's exactly what I want. So okay, and now we're gonna go into the 4th of the 7th bead set, and then into the 2nd of the first 3 bead set, and then yes, look at that, see, it does close up. Right, let's make sure it all sits neatly. Right, to make it all sit neatly, we're gonna pick up 1 15-0 and go into the central bead of each of those sets of 3 beads that we just picked up. Okay, there, one more, go into the central bead of the next 3 beads. Okay, and one more, go into the following one, if I can get into it. Yes, and then one more, and then into the original of the right. Okay, so this is what we have at this point. Don't worry, we'll tighten all those threads later. It's okay, we'll make sure it's all sitting neatly. So these 4 beads that we added last, we need to join them. Okay, this last 4 beads that we just added, so we're gonna go through them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go through the original one again. Okay, make sure we tighten them nicely, and then we need to lead our thread out following the thread path. It's a bit dark. I underestimated how dark these beads will look, but just follow the thread path and lead your thread towards the outer kind of perimeter of this the covering in the back that we have. Okay, so let's go through the 15-0 here, and then we'll go through all those 7 beads that we added originally again, just to tighten them all. Just keep going around the perimeter of this lacy pattern we created in the back. Especially here on one side where it seems to have gotten loose. Okay. And now coming out of one of those, once you are happy with tightening them, okay? Once you're happy with tightening them, we're gonna go around this, the perimeter of the circle, going through all the 15 O's and 11 O's one more time to secure them again. To go all around. I think this one, this cabochon might have been a little thicker than the previous one, because it stands out a little more in the back than the other one did. Okay, I think I've gone all around. Okay, this is now nice and tight and neat all around. Okay. Oh, let me see there. And this is what it looks like in the front. So we have our kind of eye looking out. Oh my! It reminds me of the Minions. It's like it really reminds me of the. I just realized that. Okay, it kind of looks like it. That's funny. Oh well. Right. So let's come out. Where are we coming out here? Oh my. Let me see. I think my thread may have got caught on something. Okay, let's come out of one of the yellow 11 O's that go all around, and then we proceed with up these blue ones. Okay, I'm gonna proceed up towards, what do we need to finish up here? Yes, I'm gonna proceed up towards the kind of the top of our bezel again. Okay, so coming out of this one, we're gonna come out in between yellow 11 O's one more time. Okay, now here we're going to insert cobalt 11 O's. Move those. Okay, so we're going to, between all these, so we've inserted on the inside of our circle, we've inserted some 15 O's between all the yellow 11 O's. At the top, we inserted 15 O's between every two yellow 11 O's. And then on the outside, outer edge of the circle, we're going to, here, we'll insert some 11 O's, cobalt 11 O's between these yellow ones. And on the back, we'll insert yellow 8 O's. Okay, let's do the 11 O's first. So let me guide my other thread out of the way. So it's okay, you don't need to worry about that. Okay. So we now keep picking up cobalt 11 O's and go in between all these yellow 11 O's. think it's time to wax the thread again. So as you can see, we'll put cobalt 11-0s all around. Okay. We're getting close to completion. It's really just a couple more steps remaining after this. Okay, cobalt 11-0 into the next yellow 11-0, cobalt 11-0 into the next yellow 11-0, cobalt 11-0 into the next yellow 11-0, next, just keep inserting cobalt 11-0s between the yellow 11-0s. Okay, and then once we go through, we can reinforce by going around all the beads that we added and gone through in this step. And since I don't have much thread left on this end, I'm gonna have to work with the thread on the other end that I have. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment. So now we're going to do some embellishing between these yellow 11-0s, okay? There we are. I think it's so cute. Okay. Right, so if you need to lead your thread from here, like coming out of yellow, one of the yellows, you would go down to the into the cobalt and then come out of the yellow going in a loop. So coming out of the yellow, bead kind of closer towards the bottom of our bezel, we're picking up yellow 8-0s. Okay, I'm still working with Miyuki, so okay, and then we're putting yellow 8-0s in between all the yellow 11-0s. So I'll go all around. You can always skip through to where I finished this round. So I need to add 16 of them. And then coming out of this last 11-0, we come out of the 8-0, okay? Go right through the 8-0. Let me move this thread out of the way to the back while I still can. Otherwise, afterwards, it's gonna be difficult. So I've come out, where have I come out of? There. Okay, and then I can come out of here, and I can go through here. Okay, right. So I've moved my thread, the thread to the back, so I don't have to deal with it around the front. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment. And now, in between all these 8-0s, we're picking up 3 15-0s, cobalt, yellow, and cobalt. Okay. Let me move these out of the way. So do cobalt, yellow, cobalt, all 15-0s, and we're just putting them in between all the 8-0s. Okay. Cobalt, yellow, cobalt. Okay. So cobalt, yellow, cobalt. Next. Cobalt, yellow, cobalt. Cobalt, yellow, cobalt. And just keep going. Don't worry about them warping, because we are going to, in the next step and the last step, we're going to guide them so that they go, see these little picots, they go up and down all around, making this like really pretty sort of zigzag edge around our whole eye. It really makes me think of Minions. Okay, cobalt, yellow, cobalt. Yellow, cobalt. Okay, that's what it's looking at the moment. And the really nice thing about this bezel is you actually need so few beads. You need very few beads for this, and you end up with this very, very rich look of like, it looks in the end like there's so much going on, but as you can see, it's really quite simple. So okay, so we're gonna go into the last 8-0 and through the cobalt. So in this step we're missing all the we're not going through the yellow 15-0s. Okay, so the way we do this, we skip the yellow 15-0, we go through cobalt 15-0, 8-0, and cobalt 15-0. Okay, Okay, so that's how they decide to lay themselves. So this picot goes down, so the next picot will be going up. Make sure you direct it that way. So but we're still going through cobalt 15-0, 8 yellow 8-0, and cobalt 15-0 at all times. That's what we keep doing. Okay, so there we are. This is what we're ending up with. See, this picot is going down, this picot is going up. Okay, so this one we're gonna guide it. You can always guide it with the needle which way you want it to go. So this picot will go down, and then the next picot will go up. Okay, now 15-0, 11-0, 15-0, and this picot we want it to stay down, so we guide the needle that way and make sure that we pull everything nice and tight together. So okay. Make sure you keep going in a neat zigzag. So the next picot has to be going up. So we make sure that we point the needle down or towards the bottom of the bezel. Okay. So next, this picot needs to go down. So we point the needle towards the top of the bezel when tightening. Okay. This picot needs to go up, so we point the needle towards the bottom of the bezel, and then we point the needle towards the top of the bezel. See, this is the edge that we end up having. So then almost completed. I'm going to finish completing the circle, but for you, I mean, if you're comfortable with these steps, then your bezel is now done. Okay. There we are. So we've gone all around. Of course, you can go around and reinforce everything. I mean, I would, and I definitely will, with especially with the Nymo thread. But here we are. This is our like simple but elaborate looking Evil Eye bezel. One in yellow and cobalt, and the other one is in turquoise and bronze. They do look quite different depending on colors, but then that's what all the beadwork does. So there we are. I'm very happy with this, and wow, this video turned out to be long. Well, you can always skip through many steps and have fun. Okay, till next time, bye.